if you run a professional services business and you sell your expertise, it is common knowledge to be asked to get on a call, to go have coffee or lunch or dinner, just so people can pick your brain. And one of the questions that one of my clients asked me today is, how do I turn those meetings that feel very fuzzy and undefined, for which we don't really know the agenda, and how do I turn them into paid work? How do I monetize them? In fact, another of my clients calls those kinds of meetings Barney Ship meetings, in reference to the kids show where it's an old American show from the 90s where everything is cute and happy and really, there's little storyline, but not much happens in those shows, obviously, as opposed to like an action movie, right? So how do you do this? Selling expertise requires to be aware that it's non-spoken, and here's the narrative that you have a chance to leverage. It's the narrative of the expert versus the narrative of the vendor. If you are an expert, you should be able to lead in the sale. So when someone approaches you and says, hey, can I have some time? Can I pick your brain? The first rule is that it is up to you to decide if you have the time. So don't jump into answering that kind of request immediately. Be aware that you can always say no, right? So how do we do this? Well, depending on where you are in your business, you may, first of all, manually follow up with people and say, what would you like to talk about? What would you like to connect about? It's very common now on LinkedIn to get messages from people who always want to connect with you, but not necessarily for very clear reasons. So what I like to do when a stranger connects with me on LinkedIn is to ask that same question, before I connect with that person, before I decide if it's going to be a meaningful and authentic connection. I ask, great, I would be happy to connect with you, but what would you like to connect about? And guess what the answer is typically? Typically, I get no answer. 9 times out of 10, I get no answer because either it's a robot or people are just curious and they don't follow through, or they're busy, or I don't know, the case might be. But I always like to protect my time and my relationship by defining clear intentions and finding out what the clear intentions of my counterparts are. So a great rule is always to filter the request for picking your brain or having time with you, and not turning into a Barney show by asking what people want to do. Now, if you quickly realize that as you carry on with this relationship, with this conversation, that people want service, that maybe you have something of value, you need to be able to offer what I call a one-on-one, one-off consultation. You need to be able to offer that consultation to signify and to signal that your time is valuable, your time is precious, and you attach value to it. You may find that it's kind of hard to put a price on 1 hour of your time. But if you look around in the market, you'll be able to gauge, what it is. Mark it up a bit, because there is cost attached to a one-off conversation or consultation. You have to prepare, you have to find out, who the person is, you have to run the consultation, and then you have to do some follow-up work. So it's not just going to be 1 hour of your time, it's going to be 1 hour plus coordination and many other things. So typically my rule is that you multiply your ideal hourly rate by 1.5 or maybe 2. If you go to the MetaHelm website, you will find a consultation like this available to you under priority advisory. That's how I name the service. That's how I categorize the service. And the name of the service is called the Power Hour Consult. You can look at it. You can read the description. You can see the price. I charge $1,000 for 1 hour. And if you want more of that time, and if we can't agree that this is going to be a longer engagement, you can buy up to 3 of these consultations. So having a productized service like this one that already has a price signals your value to your clients, saves you time, puts you in the mode of what kind of conversation are we having? keep in mind that you can always be flexible and waive that fee if the situation justifies it. If you see that you may talk to a client that you've really been wanting to talk to a client on your top 10 or 20 or 50 top clients, most ideal clients. If you have a client like that, you may want to, to make things happen, to make things easier, waive all or part of the fee. It's up to you to decide. But a good rule is to have this kind of productized offering ready to go, so that you filter the right kind of conversation, and so that you keep narrative power when you sell expertise. It is critical. It's a simple method, but that will balance out the conversation and balance out the relationship with your buyers from the get-go. I hope this helps, and I hope this helps you sell your expertise, starting with the right kind of conversation. Thank you.